That's a wide body beat. That's a wide body beat. That's a wide body beat. That's a wide body beat.
Yo, Panther Nation, what's good? Welcome back to Carolina's Armchair GM. I am your host, CJ. All right, and as you see by the title, we're going to do a quick recap of the recent preseason game for the Carolina Panthers against the Houston Texans. I'm sorry. Definitely not what we wanted to see this past week, especially with our ones going against their ones for the two series. And like I got right here, in the title, just in my opinion, just is a lack of effort and a lack of execution. Okay. It was almost sometimes it seemed like they weren't really trying hard enough. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna get into it, we're gonna talk about it. But before I do that, let me welcome a very special guest to the stage. Okay. You know him as I've called him before. Panther Pope podcast. You know, I have some other names for him. I was picking at him yesterday. It was over at the 704 Charlotte Bound show, and I don't think he saw it. And I told him, I said in the chat that his avatar, looks like a mixture of David Banner and Lil Bill. If you don't know who those are, go Google them. Okay, but let me welcome to the stage the one and only Panthers Prime Podcast. What's going on,
Hey,
PPP?
what's going on, my brother? I did not catch that yesterday, but I'm
I
so
knew you
grateful.
didn't.
Yeah, because I would have had the rebuttal for you already. But
I
that,
know.
that was actually pretty good. That was pretty good there, man.
Hey, let me tell you, I was going to take a picture of it and have it
Uh-huh.
up here, and I was like, I said, nah. I said PPP ain't been on with me like this in a long time. I said, let me just say it and leave it at
Yeah. It's all good. I would have loved it, man. You know how I am, man. I love those type of interactions, man.
that. Hey man, so how you been doing, man? What's going on over there with PPP?
Oh man, everything's good, man. Grateful that the season is started. In my books, the season started as soon as we hit preseason week 1. Training and getting ready for the Browns. So I'm elated. I'm grateful that we're no longer in OTAs and we're no longer talking about the draft and free agency stuff or whatever. I'm glad that real
Mm-hmm.
football is actually back and it's tangible and we can see it here in Charlotte. So I'm grateful for that.
Facts. Big
Yeah.
facts. Okay,
Yeah.
bet. Let me get into a couple comments here and go back. B Amos, what's going on with you? How you
Hey,
doing?
what's up, B?
Man, what's up, Pop? How you doing, big dog? SC Pace 4 said, what's good, CJ? We shouldn't be panicking this much as a fan base. However, I do understand being frustrated with how we've looked thus far. Big facts right there. I completely agree. Big facts. Corey Ruffin, aka let me see, Lotto Chunks. What's going on with you? I like that name, man. What's going on with you? Major Keys, frustration I understand, panic not so much. I definitely agree. Bobby Digital, I got the chain, bro. Thanks so much. Hey, appreciate it. I was worried because I sent it off and I sent you a couple emails and I ain't hear nothing back. So I was like, you know what? I said, let me tag him in the post. I said maybe he'll get that. But yeah, appreciate you and hope you enjoy it, man. Nick Tri-State, what's going on with you? And like Nick Tri-State said, hit that like button, y'all. Wherever y'all watching, or whatever platform y'all watching on, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, make sure you hit that like and follow and subscribe button. And also do the same for my man PPP over at Panthers Prime Podcast. All right, and we both appreciate all the love and support. Major Key said PPP.
Yeah.
SC Page, PPP.
Yeah.
Earl, what's going on, Mr. Earl? How you doing? So what's good, CJ and PPP? How you doing, Earl? All right, hold on. The screen just jumped here. Okay. The preacher is here to deliver the word to Panther Nation. Man, you know what? I knew I was forgetting something. I meant to have some organ sounds when you came up here. I meant to clip some organ sounds, and I forgot. I completely forgot. Oh man, let me
It's all
say.
good.
Duh. He said, man, it's good to have PPP camera up.
Hey, for this one time now. For this one time, people. Yes.
Hey, let me tell you. Now, these two here, you think me and PPP go back and forth? Doug and PPP go back and forth all day, every day.
That's my brother right there, man. That really is.
Candy Girl 803. What's going on with you?
Candy Girl.
Mr. Earl giving a shout out to Doug. The car said, Prime found a place to sit down. Where's the bus? The car, you stupid. Big Wall, CJ, PPP, this should be a good show. Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
704 NC Rider Los. What's going on? PPP, aka KK Short. Wow, 2.0, not KK Short. Mad.
I wish I had KK's money. I wish I had his money. Yeah.
Man, let me tell you, I have got to get mad, and I've got to do a lot of practicing before I decide to say, hey yo, PPP, man, let's play. I'm a fan of Madden, but I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm great at it.
Yeah,
I haven't played like consistently since Madden 15. That's the last time I played that joint like every day.
Madden is a staple in the Bird household. It's a staple. Even my daughter has played it. So yeah.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, man.
That's what's up. Hey, what's up, rich homie Uncle Quan? What's going on? He said, yo, what's good with you, Quan? Hey, man,
Quan?
How you feeling out there?
Yes, sir.
The car said, you already know how I feel. Fan base need to shut the up and just relax. Too many panickers. We supposed to be Carolina cool. Okay, I ain't never heard Carolina cool before. All right. Eternal. I like Bryce, but some of y'all be trying to bully us into optimism when some are being objective off of what they see from the games and not feelings. Okay, well, you know what? As somebody who pulls for Bryce, I feel the same way about a lot of other people who try to bully people into thinking that he is the absolute worst quarterback that has ever laced up with boots in all the history of football.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I feel you, Eternal. I feel you. And Quan said, what be's going on?
What up?
Papa said, PPP got the detective glasses on.
Goddamn, I'm looking at everything.
Hey, look, PPP, putting the paint where it ain't.
That's
hey,
the facts.
You know
putting
what?
the paint where it ain't. Facts.
All right, bet. Well, on that note, let's go ahead and get into the show. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Real quick, all my front office members, thank you so much for your support. I know all of your names are not on there, but go and check my page. I put out a members video earlier. Okay, I put out a member video early, gave y'all a little update on the front office membership and what my plans are going forward. So make sure y'all check that out. And also fantasy football. I'm not just putting this clip up here just to say that it's coming. It's here. Okay, it's here. And PPP. If you want to join the, I ran back the Panthers Content Creator League, the one we went last year. If you want to join, let me know. I'll shoot you the link. Shoot you the link.
Okay. Absolutely.
Members. Okay, there is a front office fantasy football league. There is a post on my YouTube channel. Okay, for members only, so only y'all can see with the link if you want to join. Okay, go to my post. Look at the post about the fantasy football, and y'all can see the link there. I had the link in the members only video, but I didn't realize that members can only see the video, but everybody can see the description. So I didn't want anybody just joining all willy nilly. I want to make sure I keep it with the members. Okay, so go check that out. And if you can't get in, the league is full. Let me know. Hell, we'll start another one. Okay, y'all just let me know. All right, so. Let's get into it. All right, real quick. Yeah. Nick Scorton, okay? Nick Scorton was carted off the field during joint practice with what the Panthers thought was heat exhaustion, okay? Got home late, and I got to the hotel later on that night, realized it was a little bit more than that. They took him to the local hospital and kept him there overnight, found out that he had a collapsed lung, Okay, he could not take the flight back with the rest of the team. A training staff member had to drive him and his family 17 hours back to Charlotte. When I saw this, I was like, "Oh my Jesus, here we go again." I'm like, this is not how I want this to go. But as you can see in the picture, this is a picture from Monday's practice. They said he was back on the sidelines running, doing drills, and and put up quite a bit of a sweat. So he's not like, ready to go just yet, but I think the situation is a lot better than they initially thought. And I'm going to hope that, he is possibly week to week. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I hope that is the situation. But Prime, what did you think when you heard about this?
Yeah, man. Instantly, instant remorse, and just thinking about it, because at first it was brought about as a heat related injury. So I'm thinking,
Mhm.
maybe heat exhaustion, give him an IV, boom, he's good, some salt, water, whatever, boom, he's good. Get him some electrolytes. But then when we found out that it was a collapsed lung, that actually kind of pulled on me a little bit, because you never want
Mhm.
to see anybody suffer injury, but the magnitude in which it came across my airwaves was like, oh snap, it's a collapsed lung. And we actually
Yeah.
had to do like a little bit of WebMD. I mean,
Yeah.
WebMD. I mean, if you got a little
Mhm.
paper cut on your arm, you're gonna die. So I mean, it took us to the most extreme outcome. But I'm grateful that we saw him on Monday or
Mhm.
Monday working up a sweat. I mean, it's not hard to work up a sweat in Charlotte right now, because it's so hot. But
Facts.
just grateful to see him with the weighted, chest thing there, man, and
Mhm.
moving and running and getting his body moving and not just sitting stagnant. That means that recovery has started, and we should hopefully see him a lot sooner than what we possibly thought. I was thinking maybe like week 4, week 5, maybe a little bit
Yeah.
sooner than that. So yeah,
Hopefully. Okay.
hopefully.
Hey, and real quick, shout out to Eternal 252 for the 199 super chat. I appreciate all the love and support as always, my brother. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. But yeah, man, I was just like I was floored. I was like, oh
Yeah,
my goodness. I was like a
yeah,
collapsed lung.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and I'm not gonna lie, I'm thinking, me in my thought process. I know I'm no expert, but I'm thinking like, damn, he got hit that hard that it collapsed his lung. I'm thinking that's something like, you gotta take some force,
yeah,
to do. But hey,
yeah.
I guess that's why I'm a podcaster and not a doctor. So
Yeah,
hey.
yeah. I think it does take some force to kind of collapse your lung, right? Doesn't it?
I thought so, but I mean, apparently, apparently it's another way to get a collapsed lung. So I
Mm,
mean, we'll see.
yeah,
We'll
we'll
see.
see. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
bet. All right, moving on. Andy
Mhm.
Dalton with his elbow injury. Okay. And the crazy thing is, they took him out of the game. He didn't play for the rest of the game against Houston. Jack Plummer played the rest of the game. But the picture on the left is from the game. The picture on the right is from Monday. And Andy Dalton was back at practice throwing the ball. Now he
Mhm.
does have that gray sleeve on his arm. Okay. What do you think about Andy here, Prime?
I'm sick and tired of Andy. I'm sick and tired of Andy. He had a paper cut last year in the car accident. Trust me, I'm not diminishing the car accident, but he had like a little paper mache cover thing on his thumb, and now he has a sleeve on. And I'm grateful that he's okay. I am. But for me, Andy has won one game in 2 years for the Carolina Panthers as a backup when needed. And
Mhm.
you know, uh, yeah, I mean, I, I I don't know really any other way to think about it than to say, give me back my $10 million. Give me back my money. Like, give me my money. Something, man. Like, yo, bro, like, come on. Like,
Yo, it's crazy.
he needs to play
And
Thursday. Yeah, I
yeah.
need to get my money's worth. Like, what?
Okay. Well, judging by the comments here,
Hmm.
it seems like a lot of people are saying, go ahead and cut, Andy Dalton. Okay.
I'm with him.
And that is going to lead into, and look, in the card it says time for the red rifle to retire. SC Pay said the red water pistol. Not the not the red rifle, the red water pistol. SC Pace said the man said like pew pew instead. All right. Okay. So Andy Dalton injured his elbow, did not play the rest of the game against Houston, but
Yeah.
he was back at practice. Okay.
Mhm.
And like I said, now that'll segue me into my next slide. The Panthers went out and signed the UFL MVP, Bryce Perkins. Okay.
Yeah.
This should make a lot of the fan base happy. We have another Bryce on the team. I can't see any reason why anybody would not be just overjoyed with this
Yeah.
signing.
Yeah.
And let me stop because y'all know I'm talking shit. Okay, so I got his stats up here. The
Mhm.
only stats I could find from the NFL was 2022 when he was with the Rams. I
Yeah.
think he played in one game, had 161 passing yards, one touchdown, 90 rushing yards. He played in 10 games with the I think it's the Michigan Panthers. I think
Yeah.
it was in UFL last year.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
he had 1,342 passing yards, 9 touchdowns, 269 rushing yards, and 5 touchdowns. And he had a regular season record of 5-2. And then I think he went 3-0 or 2-1 in the playoffs. Okay. Now,
Hey.
Prom, I'm gonna let you go for what do you think about Bryce Perkins being signed? Now, and do you think that either Andy or Jack Plummer are on the chopping block?
Both of them.
Speak on it.
Yeah. I believe that this move here, and it could be preliminary, and it could be biased because I'm not a Jack Plummer fan. Just a
Okay.
little bit of history. I thought Jack was horrible last preseason when I watched him. He threw potentially 2 interceptions last year in the preseason game, and everybody was like, "Well, it wasn't picked off." Yeah, because look at the talent he was going against. But you see, when you go against the
Yeah.
Houston Texans and D'Amico Ryan's team, you see the difference. 2 picks, the same fashion, the same way that they were last year in last year's play on preseason. So when I saw the news that the Panthers went ahead and got Bryce Perkins, shout out to
Mm-hmm.
BY. Is it BY10? Is that his number? Is it 10? I
Yeah.
think it's 10.
10. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
BY9 and BY10. Shout out
Why?
to
You
them,
know
man.
what? That's the first
Because
time I put that together.
yeah. Shout out to BY9 and BY. I'm sorry, BP10. I'm sorry, BP10, not BY.
Yeah.
BP10.
There you go.
Yeah. There we go. When I heard the news, I was elated. I was glad, and then I saw the tape, and I'm like, whoa, this brother looks tall, 6'3", like 215, 217. Got wheels, can run read option, can run the ball. He's a dual threat quarterback. He is. Numbers
Yeah.
show it, his tape shows it, and I mean he's very, very elusive. Can throw the ball too. I haven't seen a lot of deep passes, but his short to intermediate passing is beautiful. And the thing that I
Okay.
like the most about him is that he just doesn't have UFL tape. He's played in the National Football League, something that Jack
Okay.
Plummer has never done. As far as a regular season game, that is.
Okay.
So I'm very interested and intrigued to watch him on Thursday, and he will be the person that I'm highlighting, and that's on my radar on Thursday.
Okay. I bet. SC Pace 4 says, give me Johnny Hecker at QB over Jack Plummer, to be honest. Yo, oh
Facts.
my
I'll
God.
take Johnny Heck
Hey,
over Plum. Yeah.
336 Bar said, don't start that dual threat mess either, sir. Hey, well, I think like this. Okay. Now, the fact that Dalton was back at practice Monday says to me that elbow injury isn't, as bad as we may have thought it was.
Yeah.
If anybody is on the chopping block, I think it's Jack Plummer. Okay, because if Andy will be good enough to play in, what is it? Hold on, let me see here. What is it? 2+ weeks until the regular season starts. I don't think he would risk cutting Andy, and not having that veteran quarterback presence, in the QB room. And like I said, that's just my thoughts. If they were to cut Andy Dalton, I mean, I wouldn't cry about it. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna shed a tear. But I think
But you
it's
know
going to
what?
be go ahead, Prime.
But you know what? We have a veteran in the locker room, Bryce Young, going into his third
True.
year.
True.
and
Okay.
he's a heck of a lot better to me than Andy Dalton
Mhm.
is. I mean,
Okay.
when we look at the record pound for pound as far as the Carolina Panther, Bryce Young has won more games. And people talk about the Andy Dalton Bowl, week 3, year 1 against
Vegas.
Vegas won, but also the Seattle Seahawks won year 1 of Bryce when he got injured in week 3.
Oh,
They talk about that game, and I broke that game down. A lot of blown coverages. I mean, my grandma could have hit those passes. So, I mean,
okay.
for me personally, Andy Dalton hasn't done anything for us. He was a safety blanket year 1. Now he's just holding up space and money. That's all he's doing right
Yeah.
now.
Okay.
Mhm.
336 says Andy's vet present has brought us nothing.
Nothing.
Okay. 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 I can get with that. But like I always say, we are not the coaches. You know what? We see and we value Andy Dalton differently than Dave Canales and Dan Morgan and the rest of the staff. So that's why I say, in my opinion, if anybody gets cut, it's probably going to be Jack Plummer. So, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right. Okay, so that is Bryce Perkins being signed by the Carolina Panthers, last year's UFL MVP. And let me see, he's got 2 days of practice. Today was the last day of practice in pads. And the crazy thing, they got a little wild out there today. They were swinging at each other and everything. Chuba and Bryce made them run gassers. Who was it? Icky threw somebody to the ground. And then Icky pushed JC Horn, and JC Horn swung on him. And I
Yeah.
mean, and hey, you know what? Maybe that's the fire and the spark that these jokers need, because they haven't showed much of it in preseason, except for when Xavier Legette wanted to throw blows with Jenkins from the Browns. So
Right.
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. I'm not gonna
All
lie,
right.
see, I'm really loving this 2025 Panthers. It has a lot more spunk and spark in it than years prior. So I'm liking it.
Okay. All right. Bet. Major Key said Jack is terrible. People hate Young so much they would rather lose Plummer.
Yeah. Lose
I
with
feel
Plumber.
you.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Mhm.
All right, bet. So next slide. All right, and this has been something that's been on X for all of the past couple of days.
Yeah.
Trade for Trey Hendrickson. Okay,
Mhm.
the talks between Cincinnati and Trey Hendrickson have basically come to a halt.
Yeah.
Okay. And Trey Hendrickson will not play for the Cincinnati Bengals without some kind of a deal. And this man wants to get paid. Wants
Mhm.
to get paid. Okay. So let me go on to the next slide here where I got a little bit of stats here. So Trey Hendrickson, he's 30 years old. All right, he'll be 31 in December. He started off his first 4 years with the Saints, New Orleans Saints. Okay, now these are his stats since he's been in Cincinnati. In 21, he had 34 total tackles, 3 forced fumbles, 14 sacks. 22, 32 total tackles, 3 forced fumbles, 8 sacks. 23, 43 total tackles, 3 forced fumbles, 17 and a half sacks. Last year, 46 total tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 17 and a half sacks again.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, from what I read, the Bengals want a young defensive player and a 2026 first round pick. And whatever team gets them would have to sign him to an extension. I think it's between the Panthers, the Colts, and I can't remember who the other team
The
was. That
Browns.
the Browns that are in the mix to try and trade for Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah.
So PPP. All right.
Mhm.
Well, I think I know the answer to this first question. Okay, but would you be willing to trade for Trey Hendrickson, and who would you be willing to get? Who would you be willing to give up, and would you be cool with giving up a first round pick?
Man, it's a loaded question. And I got to give you a loaded answer. My answer is going to be actually it's going to be if then. So
Mm-hmm.
I like Trey. I like Trey. I'm gonna say it off back. I like him. I like what he's done, what he's produced. I think the Bengals are being very, very rich in their ask. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
You want
Yeah.
a first round pick and a young defensive player. I mean, come on. Like
Mm-hmm.
what? You can use that first round pick to get you a young defensive player, you know?
Yeah.
So I think the axe is a little bit high, but I do understand that when you or in negotiations, you got to start high unless you'll get lowballed. So I don't believe that anyone's going to meet that mark. But if let's say for instance that I said, okay, cool, I'll take that deal. Hey, psh, and I mean, to me, I wouldn't be able to touch anybody on my defensive end position in Carolina because I
Mhm.
like Warner, I like Pat Jones, I like Scoring, I like Princely. They can have DJ Johnson if they want him. I mean, I mean, how old is Shy Tuttle? I mean, they can have him, and I mean, if they want a first round pick, that's cool. But my thought process is this: like, if we get Trey to me seems like a move where you just know that we're going to go far. And
Mhm.
surprisingly, I think the Panthers are going to go far this year. I really do. I'm one of those people who have said 9+ wins. Now, caveat: I have said uh, 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 winning records for the past 2 years, but this year has a little bit more pudding in it. You know what I mean? A little bit more base based on what we did in free agency in the draft. So I would be cool with it if they would take someone like that. I'm not giving them ransom. I'm not giving them Trevin Wallace. I'm not giving them. They could possibly have Mello Dotson if they want him. I haven't seen too much of him recently. So if they want
Yeah.
him, that's fine. You're not getting Derek Brown. You're not getting Turk Warren. You're not getting Bobby Brown. You're not getting DJ Wanham. You're definitely not getting JC Horn. So I think their ass is a little bit too. It's a little bit too. It's a little bit too much. It's a little bit too boom heavy for me. So shout out to the team that's going to do it. I don't think the Panthers are going to do it unless Dan Morgan can really bring them down to earth. Because right now, them boys is at Pluto, and it's just crazy.
I feel you on that one, Prime.
Hmm.
Hey, and in Trio One, thank you for the comment. He says, "Here's a thought: if we must trade, then why not trade for a younger Micah Parsons?" Let me tell you, I agree with you because my thought process on this is Trey Hendrickson is 30 years old. Okay, be 31 in December. The Panthers have seemed and have shown, especially in bringing in free agents this offseason, everybody they have brought in has been in their 20s, if I'm not mistaken. I think the oldest player they brought in was oh goodness, Roseboom. I think Christian Roseboom was the oldest player they brought in. I think he's still in his 20s. I think maybe late 20s.
What about
But
you talking about defensive player?
defensive players, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I think they're trying to get younger on this defense. Okay.
Mhm.
And the thing is, I see the 336 Boston said Trey wants 30 million, Parsons getting 40 million. Okay. My thing is this: are the Panthers going to be in a financial position probably this year, because they can make the first year of that contract team friendly, and
Mhm.
then like the ones with Robert Hunt, Damian Lewis, Chuba, Derek Brown, J.C. Horn. That first year is always team friendly, and then the players, they get the majority of their money for that second year on.
Mhm.
Are the Panthers willing to do that with a about to be 30-year-old, 31-year-old Trey Hendrickson? And I also say this, he's been in the league 8 years now. He had 17 and a half sacks these past 2 years, but is there any guarantee that that type of production is going to continue here in Carolina?
No.
Okay. And you always know the older you get, and not necessarily, but for the most part, the older you get, the more chance you have at injury. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I think that the Panthers are taking all of that into consideration if they are truly in the mix, to go out and trade for this guy. Okay.
Mhm.
And the thing is, if they want a young defensive player, the only young defensive players that I'm willing to give up, or I think the Panthers would give up if they would do this, you think maybe a Princely or a Nick Scorton. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Because you think
Mhm.
if the Bengals they want something to kind of replace what they're losing, you would think that that young player might be somebody at the outside linebacker spot. You know, so I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen, and I think Dan Morgan has come in here and he's got him his mindset. He's got he's focused. He's focused on what he wants to do. Okay, and he already said that this process is not going to be just, one and done. It's going to take a few years. Okay, it took a couple years with the offense. Hopefully, we reap the rewards of the offense this year. Okay, I think he's made strides on the defense, but the defense is still a work in progress. The whole team is still a work in progress, but I think the defense is more of a work in progress than the offense is. But like I said, there's no guarantee we're going to come in here and Trey Hendrickson is going to have 17 and a half sacks this year with Carolina.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
And, and, and
I know exactly what you
also,
mean.
and I say that because we still have Evero calling the plays, and nothing has shown me that he's not going to go out there this year and have all of our cornerbacks, including our star cornerback J.C. Horn, playing all the way in the parking lot while the other team's wide receivers are at the line of scrimmage.
Them boys at
Okay,
277.
I'm telling you, let me tell you, Pittsburgh is going to be at the line of scrimmage, and the Panthers cornerbacks are going to be on Mint Street.
On Mitch.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you, it's wild. And if you go back and look at the tape from the Houston game, there were a lot of times where Turk Wharton, Princely were getting pressure on CJ Stroud, or they were about to. But the thing was, CJ Stroud dropped back. He took a couple steps, and all he had to do was launch the ball. Because mind you, his receivers are going out for 4 or 5 yard out routes and in routes, and when they set their hips and go to turn wherever they're going to go, the damn cornerback is still 5 or 6 yards in the back pedal, and now he's got to catch up. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's absolutely it's disastrous, man. Thinking that we could possibly be doing the same thing from last year. But I will say this, man, about Trey. He's coming from a 4-3 defense. Can he adjust to Evero? And will he be beneficial? Because I would hate for us to trade for a guy and he's thrown out of his element, dealing with Evero. You know what I mean? And then, his image is in a sense tarnished because of what Evero's scheme is. And, we know it ain't the best, from last year. So I don't think this is a move that we need to make, but if they do make it, I hope that they adjust in some form or fashion to make it conducive for the actual players that we have. Lean on their skill level. Don't try to be like Frank Reich. Wonderful article I saw today where Frank Reich said that maybe his offensive thoughts and how he organized everything made the Panthers what they were that first year. Yeah, you don't think? So I hope if they do make this move that it does benefit the players and it leads or yields to the players' strength as well.
Okay. Trish said, bro, we don't have 30 million now. Well, like I was saying, if they do an extension, kind of like they did with Chuba, JC, Derek Brown, that first year might be team friendly, and then, they get their money on the back end. I don't know what kind of a signing bonus he would get, what kind of guaranteed money he wants to receive. That all would have to be worked out, in the meantime as well. But you also have to consider too, we're going to have to pay Icky next year. You got to think if he goes out there and has a good season this year, Icky's going to get paid. Okay. What his contract looks like or will look like, we don't know. If Bryce goes out there and has a great season, which I hope he does, okay, he's going to be in line for a payday, whether it's they pick up his 5th-year option or, now me personally, if Bryce goes out there and has a great season this year, I'm not going to jump on the sign him now train. I want to see him have the good season this year and a good season next year. Then pick up that 5th-year option if these 2 seasons pan out. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for the kid, but I'm trying to be sensible in all this too. I'm definitely rooting for him. But if he has a good 2 years in a row, put some numbers, stats, wins, playoff appearance on the table, okay, then pay the man.
Pay the man.
I'm not going to sit here and be like, if he goes out there and does good this year, sign him. No.
I understand completely.
But okay. All right. Well, cool beans. All right. Well, now we're going to get into what's probably going to be the 2 main topics of this episode right here with my good brother, PPP Panthers Prime Podcast. And real quick before we get to it, out of all of the people that are watching, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Twix, as we like to call it, that's a mixture of Twitter and X. Make sure if you're on YouTube, like and hit that subscribe button. If you're on X, like and give me a follow. Give PPP a follow as well. If you're on Facebook, like and follow. Okay, we appreciate all the love and support. Thank you. All right. Okay. So this next topic has been something that I've heard a lot too in the past couple of days. All right. So it was apparent in the Houston Texans game. All right. You had our joint practice. Okay. Not saying that the joint practice was perfect, but there were a lot of good things that we heard coming out of joint practice. You see clips. Mike Jackson got an interception. Bryce hit Xavier Legette down the sideline. Beautiful ball. Great catch by Xavier Legette. You did see Derek Brown get rocked out of his socks one time by the tight end, but I kind of chalked that up to him just trying to get back into the swing of things, but I don't see that happening, too often.
Yeah.
Ted McMillan caught, what they assumed would have been an 80-yard touchdown over the middle, with Derek Stingley as the winning coverage. You know what I mean? And you get the idea, even some of the Houston Texans reporters that I saw on X, they were reporting that if they had to kind of grade the practice, they would say it was pretty much about even. There were a lot of good plays for the Panthers. One of them said, that the Panthers had a few coverage sacks, that the Panthers secondary was really, at some points, not the whole practice, really holding it down as far as the Houston wide receivers. Okay. Then we get to the preseason game. We see absolutely none of this. Absolutely none of this.
None of it.
Okay. Now, mind you, I'm not going to sit here and just judge the Panthers off of 4 possessions. That's the 2 in the Houston game and the 2 in the Cleveland game. Okay. But you can't deny that they went out there and put up -2 yards on 2 drives. Okay. Right. And I also throw out that Jatavian Sanders did drop a pass on 3rd down. Who knows what that drive may have been like if he would have caught that pass and got the 1st down. Maybe Bryce in the offense would have been able to get in some type of a rhythm. Okay. But that's just speculation. That's just me throwing that out there. Okay. All right. So PPP, sir, I ask you, what do you put more stock in? Do you put more stock in these joint practices? And, and also the fact that we've had 2 of them this year. Well, the 2 previous years, we've only had 1, and both of them against the New York Jets. Okay. So give me your opinion on joint practices versus preseason games.
All right. Just like this wonderful bottle of honey here that I've been eating, I'm going to be pure, raw, and unfiltered with my answer here.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that joint practices are wonderful. Yeah. What's up, Kendall? I think that joint practices are good. Me, you, we was at the joint practice last year against the Jets, and we saw how physical it was. Albeit you aren't allowed to touch the quarterback in no way, shape, or form. Bryce Young did take a little sack last year, but it's a physical exhibition. It is. And the fact that it was even, we were able to exploit their defense, and we were able on the defensive side to get after their quarterback. I chopped that up as good reps, good work, good production. And it goes along the same lines of what Dave Cannella said in his press conference after the Houston Texans game. He said that the Panthers didn't earn a 3rd series that day.
Gotcha.
That day. Based on, how they played, but also based on what they did in joint practice. I think the issue is this, because our eyes aren't privy to joint practice like it has been, when we was in Spartanburg and even last year in Charlotte, over the years. That right now we're not able to gauge what we see. We have to depend on wonderful people like Vashti and Sheena Quick and Mike Kay and, all these guys here, and the fans aren't able to actually see it. So it's causing more of a buzz than anything, because you're hearing that joint practice went one way. Preseason, when we finally are able to see it, does not denote or does not come anything close to what we're seeing being told to us by the beat writers. and by the Carolina Panthers media team as well. So I kind of look at both of those because for me personally, preseason is always about fringe players, second, third, fourth stringers trying to make the team for me, depth pieces or whatever. That to me, that's what preseason is for. If you're trying to figure out who's going to be your starters during preseason, you're already going to lose. That's how I feel. I feel like we know who our starters are going to be. I think these joint practices are really helping Canellis out with formulating, what works good, what doesn't work good for his ones. Yeah, the twos come in play, threes come into play. That's cool. But I think he's really taking a strong approach and let's get these joint practices, this physicality down and run, probably run what we're going to be running, coming up to this upcoming season. I mean, because hey, these two teams that we ain't going to play in the regular season, we ain't playing these teams. So I'm just trying to brainstorm on that aspect. Preseason is what it is. It's fringe players. People are trying to make the team. That's why the majority of them will be cut during the 90-man cut time down to 50, whatever it is, 52, whatever it is, a 52-man roster. 53. Thank you, 53-man roster. So I'm not concerned at all. Now I will be a little bit, uneasy if we go down there to Jacksonville to Duval County and it look like Houston. I'm gonna be a bit concerned then because I'm putting my trust in what Dave Canellis is saying because he is the head coach and because my eyes have been limited because I can't be at joint practice. You feel what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at when it comes down to that.
Okay, I feel you, Prime. And I will say this, okay? I saw a clip earlier of when Rex Ryan was introduced to Victor Cruz in a preseason game. I forgot the year. And the defensive coordinator in the booth was like, who is number 3? Okay. Like who is number 3? And then he said something else. He scored his second touchdown. He goes, where's the safety at? Somebody else says, our defense is playing like shit. Okay. And then he was like, where's the safety? And he said, the bad thing about this is some of these guys out there are going to be on this team. Okay. So everybody who's out there playing, especially in those two, not everybody, but a lot of those people that are in the second stringers, they're going to be on the 53-man roster. Yeah. Okay. So it does concern me. I love the fact that they're going out here in these joint practices and they're doing good because I always say, I am not the coach. If I was a coach, I would not be here on this podcast running my yap 2-3 times a week. I would be flying across the country, going to NFL games and coaching the team. Okay. So we don't see what they see. But the stuff that we do see, is a little concerning to me. It's people are frustrated, and I think they have a right to be, but my thing is this also. Okay, and I was gonna save this for another show, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. So Canales got on the podium today, and shout out to Vastop Carolina Blitz. She asked him about who's been calling the plays. So on offense, Brad Isaac has been calling the plays the first 2 games of preseason. Jonathan Cooley called the first game against Cleveland, and I think Pete Hansen called this last game against Houston. And he went on to say, it's about getting them basically some reps calling plays as, they are kind of like the wingman for the offense and defensive coordinators, which Canales is the offensive coordinator. And he's saying, he wants them to get more adept in situation where it's like, hey, it's second down. They're running man. And then but Canales as the offensive coordinator, like, okay, bet it's something maybe he doesn't see, and then he knows what play that he wants to go out there and have them execute. Okay, now with all that being said, yes, I love the way they did in joint practices, but I don't care if they gave me and you the playbook on a receipt from Publix with the daggone birthday cake at the end of it as a purchase. If we got the damn playbook and we call 52 right, black, whatever, blah, 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 they need to go out there and execute it.
Yes, they do.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes, they do.
You feel what I'm saying?
I feel exactly
I don't give a damn who calling the playbook or who calling the plays. I don't. I
Because it's
don't.
gonna be the same thing, right? It's gonna be the same thing regardless. If Canellis calls it
Yeah.
or if Brett is it called. I feel you.
Now,
Yeah.
now I kind of see it from, okay, maybe in certain situations they might not have been calling the right plays for the right situation that
Correct.
they are that the defense is in.
Mhm.
I get that might be a possibility. But at the same time, you got Bryce out there on the first play. He rolls out of the pocket. Now, mind you,
Mhm.
they had a defensive holding call, but then he launches the ball downfield and Stingley intercepts it.
Yeah.
But the play gets called back and we get to keep on for another couple downs. All right.
Mhm.
Now I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, well, that's nothing. Bryce knew that the play was coming back. I don't think he did. He ran out the damn pocket and threw that lame duck up there, and he damn sure shouldn't have. I'm sorry. He damn sure shouldn't have. You know what I mean? Because now mind you, yeah, that whole bailed him out on that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you have another play. Now mind you, maybe this is the play calling. Okay. There was a play where they had two wide receivers, and I
Mhm.
think it was two wide receivers, two or three tight ends, if I'm not mistaken. Everybody stayed in the block. I think it was a play action. I think it was two tight ends, and the two wide receivers both went to the left side of the field. Houston had 5 people back there covering those two wide receivers,
You talking about
and
that
then Bryce
crosser?
Young,
One was like a
yeah,
crosser, right? Yeah, I know
hmm
what you're talking about. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
Bryce Young rolled out to his right and ended up sliding down. I mean,
Mhm.
sliding, to the turf. You know
Who's
what I
he gonna
mean?
throw to? Who's he gonna throw
Then,
to?
yeah, then you have another play. I think where he rolled out, but he got sacked.
Mhm.
Where Taylor Moton and Robert Hunt got just, I mean, like if any of y'all have ever done drywall work, you get your drywall up and you got to cover the seams, you put your tape up there, you put your plaster. I mean, they just got plastered into the damn dirt. Taylor
Hey
Moton
man.
and Robert Taylor Moton got smushed into the ground, and then Robert Hunt fell on top of him, on top of him and the defender that pushed him to the ground. And then on the other side of that same play, Will Anderson Jr. just looked at Icky and was like, "Not today, bro." Pushed him to the side, gave him a little swim move, and ran and chased Bryce down. You know what I mean? And that's what I get to that. It's just, whoever's calling the plays, okay, they need to go out there and execute. And I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like, my thing is, you can't just hang your head to me on the joint practices, and then you get out there in the preseason and you get 2 drives. Now, mind you, I'd have been okay if they would have, like, okay, cool, we got that 1 touchdown drive against Cleveland. Bet if we would have down to Houston and looked halfway decent on 1 drive, I would have been okay with that. But we
Mhm.
went out there and stunk it up for 2 drives, and I don't like that, and I don't
Yeah.
like that. So for me, I think both should be important. And Canales was saying that he saw what he needed to see in the joint practices, but it's just like, dude, I need you to get these guys where you happy with what they're seeing in preseason games as well.
Yeah.
And real quick here,
Mhm.
hold on, Prime. Hey, shout
Mhm.
out to Flame for Jesus for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you as always. He said the same thing happens every year. We practice good. When it comes to playing, we can't execute. Yeah, that has been the case lately. And also, Flame for Jesus again. Thank you for the 20 gifted memberships, man. I appreciate you. Everybody that received a membership, welcome to the front office. Okay. And if you're so inclined and you want to join our front office fantasy football league, there is a link in my post section on the YouTube channel. But Flame for Jesus, thank you again. And also, thank you to my good buddy, Mr. Hunky Dory, for another 10 gifted memberships. I greatly appreciate both of y'all. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate y'all. And like I said, everybody that's a member of the front office, I hope coming up, I'll be able to do enough to convince y'all to join for another month. But like I said, hey, if you want to join the Fantasy Football League, there's a post out there on my channel. Okay. So thank you. But back to my, soliloquy here. Um But yeah, I just want, I want the preseason games to look like the joint practice. They don't have to be the exact same, but you want to see your team go out there and look good at what they're doing. And I know, like somebody said in the comments, that Buffalo got blown out by Chicago the other night, but Buffalo's 2s and 3s got blown out by Chicago. Okay, Josh Allen and the ones didn't go out there and go for -2 yards. Okay, all right. So
Yeah.
CJ Hill said, y'all playing for money, bro. Not in the league that I got started now. I mean, hey, if enough of y'all want to join and play for a little bit of money, I'm not gonna play for too much. You know what I mean? But we can make something happen. Y'all let me know.
A little light 5.
Yeah, not even 5. You might 100 or less with me.
Hey, I will say
Hey,
this,
look,
man, about that play. Didn't Taylor Moton look like a turtle when it's on his back, on his shell, legs kicked up in the air?
damn sure did.
I
Damn sure
said, what
did.
the hell? Hey,
Hey, and like Doug said, the GOAT playing for Jesus and Mr. Hunky Dory. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I appreciate you.
yes, sir.
And,
Yes,
and,
sir.
and look at this ding dong here, 5K. Go on somewhere in the car. Go on somewhere. Let me tell you, Janelle will walk across this through this door right here and shut this entire stuff down. All you see is her hand come across this screen and knock me into this wall, and she be like, "Bye bye, everybody."
Yeah, and as soon as she do that, I'm gonna do this. I ain't
I
seen
feel
nothing.
you. Hey, bro, let me tell you. Okay. All right. So joint practice versus preseason games. Okay. Like I said, I would like to see. I'm glad the joint practices are going great. Okay. We're not behind the scenes. We don't know what's going on with this team, as far as what the Panthers coaching staff is looking for. But it would be nice to see some of that translate onto the field, especially with our starters out there. Okay. And I can say this, at least the defense got a 3 and out from CJ Stroud and the Texans. Now, mind you, I can kind of, pick at that a little bit too, because Bartholomew was torched on that play. Okay.
Multiple
There was
times.
two plays in a row where Evero was playing that parking lot defense. That's what I'm gonna call it from now on. I'm gonna call it parking lot defense. Evero was playing that parking lot defense, and
Yeah,
CJ Stroud was killing them.
yeah.
He goes in his drop back, boom, he throwing it. His man wide open. Okay. So mind you, if somebody's playing back like that, back like that, then on the next play, Bartholomew decides to go up to the line of scrimmage. Oh, you're going to play a little closer now. You know what happens? They went straight over the top, and he got torched. But luckily, C.J. Stroud threw the ball out of bounds.
Right.
Okay, so but yeah, so I mean, it's a lot to pick apart. It's a lot to pick apart.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
but now let me get to the last slide here. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and what I want to say, PPP Panthers
Yeah.
Prime Podcast.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Should Panther Nation be in panic mode? And if so, why or why not?
No.
Okay.
You should not be in panic mode right now. I think that the Panthers fans live in a capsule called panic because we've been bad for so long. So anything that resembles anything outside of doing good, we panic. Let's wait until the season gets started. The rule of thumb for me is it's every quarter. The first 4 games. Let's see where we're at as a team in the first 4. When the first game, game 1 comes, I never really judge a team until second half adjustments. Because I mean, anybody can go out there and knock something out in the ballpark, first half. And when you go back and you look at those Microsoft services and you see what's going on, adjustments happen, i.e., week 1 against the Atlanta Falcons, when they realized that they could run stunts on us, Bryce Young couldn't do nothing on that second half of that game. So I always say, man, give it 4 weeks. Let's gauge the team on that spectrum right there. So and then I think that'd be a little bit more of a better assessment than to go into panic mode when your starters have only played a total of 4 series, if that, and all of them wasn't even together. So we have not seen this team in totality yet. We haven't seen this offense in totality, this defense in totality. Heck, Dave Canellis didn't even call plays. So we don't even know what's in Dave's bag right now. You know what I mean? So Panthers fans need to relax. Just give us some time. I know we're eager because we have Ted McMillan, Jimmy Horn, Mitchell Evans, We have all this firepower. Rico Dowdle. I love Trevor Etienne from what I saw against Houston. That brother's motor never cuts off. But
Mm-hmm.
just wait until Jacksonville, uh, Cardinals game, Atlanta at home, then the Patriots game, and then at that point, I think everybody should be able to give a well-educated, informed thought process on whether we should be in panic mode or not.
Okay, facts. And shout out to Flame for Jesus again for the $5 super chat. Greatly appreciate you as always. He says, I don't ever panic. I hope for the best and expect the worst. We always get the worst. Well, Flame for Jesus, let me tell you, I'm going to say a prayer up every morning as I go to work for you especially and for all the Panther Nation that hopefully we can get the best this year or,
Right.
at least somewhere near the best. But again,
Absolutely.
thank you for the super chat, man, as always. I appreciate you. Okay. My thought process is this. Okay. I think all Panther Nation has the right to be highly frustrated right now. And I do mean highly. Okay. I don't think it's panic mode just yet. Okay. Now, I know I just gave this whole soliloquy about the joint practices and the preseason games, and all that. But you got to think about it too. Like Prime said earlier, these teams we don't play in the regular season. We're not going to see them again this year. Okay. So when you're getting prepared for a team week to week, how do you get prepared for that team week to week? You practice, because I seen somebody also say, we're great against ourselves. Okay. But the thing is, you're going out there and practice, against the practice squad, and you're dissecting film of that other team and you're getting your game plan together. Okay.
Mhm.
So hopefully, the practices that they have from here on out after Pittsburgh on Thursday and they make the 53-man roster cut on Tuesday, I'm hoping that these practices, because they're getting ready for Jacksonville, they get their act together. They get their shit together. Okay, and they make this work. All right. And
Mhm.
PvP, you said something that kind of caught my attention. You was like, you evaluate the team, see how they make first half adjustments. Okay.
Mhm.
Now that kind of concerns me a little bit too, because one of the things that I want the Panthers to do is to try and learn how to be a first half team sometimes. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, mind you, because we were always playing from behind last year. We always had to, the games we won them late. It would be nice for the Panthers to come out there and put up, 15, 20 points in the first half. Okay.
Mhm.
And then hopefully they've done enough. I'm not gonna say done enough, but we've put together long drives, possibly wear out the opponent's defense like our defense got wore out last year. And I will say this too. A lot of people are saying that the Panthers had so many 3-and-outs last year that the defense was always tired. I'm not going to argue that the Panthers didn't have a lot of 3-and-outs last year, which I know they did. But on the other hand, you have to remember the defense did it to themselves a lot of times. Okay.
Mhm.
Even if the Panthers were to go down the field and score, the defense would sit there and let the other team drive all the way down the field. And it was some drives where it was big plays, but for the most part, the Panthers defense got dinked and dunked down the field.
Yeah.
Okay. Running backs were getting 5 yards before they were getting touched by a defender. The line of scrimmage was getting pushed back that far, for our defense. So you just think
Mhm.
about it. 5 yards here on first down, 4 yards on second. And then you got like a 3rd and 1 or 2. And then Evero is playing parking lot ball. He playing that parking lot defense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it's a whole lot of things that go into it, but I don't think it's panic mode just yet. Now, mind you, concern and wanting to see this team do better. I'm with you. Okay, I'm frustrated and I'm damn sure a little bit concerned about what I saw, for the simple fact that whoever was calling the plays, they couldn't go out there and execute them, against the Texans. All
Yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
you can
Well,
dissect that a million different ways. Go ahead, Brian.
well, I just want to clarify the one thing. What I mean by first house adjustments. I'm only talking about pertaining to week one, because there's no
Mm-hmm.
tape on any team at all coming into that week. You're coming in fresh.
Yeah.
You don't know what the other team is going to throw at you because it's a brand new team. But after that first half has passed, and now you see the tendencies of what these guys are doing, then you're able to go ahead and see, well, how can we stop this? Then from that point on, there's tape on you going into week two. So I'm really just talking about I'm really talking about everything pertaining to week one first half
Okay.
versus first and second quarter. Then third and fourth quarter is where I really laser in to see what adjustments are made on either side of the ball to either continue to lead or to come back and beat that team. So that's really what I'm talking about. I agree with you. I want us to be a first half team. I want us to go out there first half. When halftime come up, we have 30 points. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I want that. I want you to stump on their neck first half.
Yes.
You know, and don't
Foot
let up.
on it.
Yeah, foot on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you. Okay. All right, cool. But yeah, man, like I'm saying, a lot of Panther Nation is in full blown panic mode. And you know, and like I said, and I'm not about to sit here and try to say that, you know, people shouldn't feel that way. Me personally, I don't think it's panic mode yet. If you have hit the panic button, hey, by all means, you know what I mean? Hey, we'll see if this gets better together, you know, and I think it will, and I do think it will, but you know, they've got to, you know, and the thing is, the starters are not playing, you know, against the Steelers Thursday.
Correct.
And Evero and Canales are calling the plays on Thursday. And even Evero was like, you know, I know that sounds weird, you know, we're calling the plays and we only have our starters out there, you know, but he did say they're going out there and they're trying to see exactly who, you know, in the second and third string players, you know, are going to be here, you know, come Tuesday.
I just got
a
headache. I just got a headache when you said that. I just got a headache.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not going to lie. I heard that they were calling plays, but I thought it was them calling plays in the joint practice. I didn't know that it was, you know, them calling plays in the preseason games. But even still, I'm not using that as an excuse. I'm not using that as an excuse. Like I said, I don't care if they wrote the plays down on a Publix receipt and we bought chicken with it. Okay. If I'm calling the plays, if they know the plays that I'm calling, they need to go out there and execute.
Why across a double leg 52 scrammer? It's the same thing whether Dave Canellis call it or Brad is it. God dang it. Go out there and run
for real. Hey, shout out to Flame with Jesus for another $5 super chat. He says 32nd was our ranking for first downs. How the 73 punts helping the defense? Oh, the Atlanta game. No, I feel you. And I said I'm not going to sit here and say that the Panthers didn't have a lot of 3 and outs, but I'm also not going to sit here and say that those 3 and outs were the only reasons why the defense was out there getting their ass whooped. You know, they did not help themselves at all. And I say that because it started at the beginning of the game. It wasn't, you know, oh, they got wore out during the game and they were holding teams and not scoring any points all season long. And then when they got wore out, you know, at the end of the game, they fell out and they putting points up. Teams came out there and were putting points up from the jump. Look at the first game of last season against the daggone the Saints. Okay, from the jump. That's what I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing with the third downs. That is a problem. You are absolutely right. That is a problem. But from my perspective, that's it. What percentage of the problem, you know, that's for all of us to have our own opinions on. But you know, it's part of it. You know, and them just going out there playing pathetic defense was also a part of it as well. So yeah. But again, hey, shout out to you, Flame for Jesus, man. Thank you for the $5 super chat. I greatly appreciate you. All right. But yeah, but that's all I got for us today, man. I tried to get you in here and get you out so you can enjoy the rest of your evening, man. Absolutely. But I appreciate you joining me. I called you last minute. Look, I called you, didn't even know you were live. You know, and the fact that you picked up the phone and talked to me while you were live, I thank you and I appreciate you. Okay? Oh
yeah, man. You are a true brother, man. I'm always gonna do that. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Same to you. Same to you too. Okay. And also I want to thank everybody in the chat. Everybody in the chat. Hold on, and one more time. Flame for Jesus, thank you again. He said, I already told you we would be a very bad defense just from the hurt players we picked up. I got you. I ain't forgot, Flame. I ain't forgot. I got you, big dog. And again, thank you for the $5 super chat. I greatly appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
But again, thank you for all the people in the chat. Y'all had some great comments tonight, great thoughts and opinions. I'll probably be live again on Wednesday and do a quick preview of the the Pittsburgh game. Probably another quick live, more so, you know, who do we expect to make the team? Who is kind of on the bubble the most? And, you know, and now after hearing Evero today, you know, will it make a difference? I'm sorry, no, Canales. Will it make a difference, you know, in this last preseason game with Evero out there calling the plays and Canales than, you know, the other staff members, the other coaches? You know, will that make a big difference? You know, and also, what are we going to expect out of Bryce Perkins after having only 2 days of practice with the team? You know, and that's nothing you got to think of. How much of the depth of the playbook is he going to be able to get, you know, down pat before Thursday? Okay. I imagine that man is going to be in the film room, you know, 24/7 until then, but we're going to have to see. Okay.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
PPP, before we get out of here,
Yes,
let
sir.
everybody know where to find you and let everybody know where you put the paint where it ain't.
Oh, you can find me down at the Nasty Kitty. No, I'm just No, you can find me on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. All handles will say Panthers Prime Podcast. It may be a white background, it may be the gold one, but it's all the same thing. Panthers Prime Podcast, predominantly here on YouTube and on Twitter. So I would love for you guys to or girls or ladies to engage with me. Let me know how you feel. It's an open panel all the time. Just make sure that you know what you're talking about, because we are a little bit less tamed than over here at my brother's page. It can get a little crazy over there sometimes, but we try to make sure that we do give you guys some good information there. So that's how you can find Panthers Prime Podcast, PPP.
Yeah. And I always say this, don't be scared to go over there, you know, because I join from time to time. I join some of the other podcasts, you know, and like I said, I'm not as loud as a lot of people are, but my thing is, I always tell y'all, it's my opinion. Okay. I don't claim to be an expert. You know, I don't claim to know nothing. I'm not Jesus Christ. I'm not any of that. You know, but I'm a fan with an opinion. And when you go over these other channels, go over there, speak your opinion and stick with it. Okay? Speak your opinion and stick with it.
Yeah.
You know, you'll be just fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you do go
unless
to the Panthers
Howard and
Prime
Red is on
podcast,
stage.
man, you know what? Let me tell you, I haven't had the pleasure of talking with Howard yet, but I talk to Red all the time, and let me tell you, I give him the business every time I see him on the stage. I promise you, I do. But
Red is
it's
a
all
good
in good
brother.
fun.
Yeah,
He's a
good
mess.
brother. Yeah,
All
man.
right. But again, thank you for everybody in the chat. Again, thank you to Flame for Jesus and Mr. Hunky Dory for the gifted memberships. Thank you for the super chats. Eternal Flame for Jesus, I appreciate everything. Those of you that are new members, those of you some of our old members, there is a post on my page where you can go and join the Front Office Fantasy Football League. And y'all let me know if you can't get in there. Let me know. If I need to start another league, I'll start another league. I don't mind doing 5, 6, 7, 8 fantasy football leagues. For me, it's just a swipe on the phone for about 5 minutes, and I got my lineups done. I'm good. So y'all let me know. I'm down with it. And again, I appreciate all the love and support. Okay. And as always, Panther Nation, I'm going to leave y'all with 3 things. Number 1, y'all be good. Number 2, y'all be safe. And number 3, as always, Panther Nation, keep pounding, man. I'll see you.